So this is Praesidium, Intelligent Asset Tracking. This enables you to track all devices if they have telemetry and GPS tracking data. We can add these assets to this asset tracking site. Let me take you through the navigation of the dashboard. So at the top bar here you have operations, management, analytics, administration, alerts and settings, and then you have your login, log out and user access settings here. So this is the top navigation bar. This will be the main bar where you navigate around the dashboard and select between different tabs and options. On the left hand side is your asset control. So this asset control is split into groups. So in your user settings you can decide what groups you want each asset to be inside of. These toasters here will just show you the current state of the assets, and this is how you navigate on the map between each asset. On the bottom here you have your map navigation. These are particular settings for changing the map layer. So you can go to satellite, satellite street, which provides you with all the road network, just streets without the satellite view, and dark mode just here. You can then zoom in and zoom out of your map, and this provides you with your network status so you know that everything is functioning as it should on your dashboard. So once you're happy to navigate around your devices, you can click on the device you want to monitor. So this is where you see the asset's live status and its location. In the telemetry card here you can then see all the telemetry for its GPS and navigation. You can see the telemetry for the engine and vehicle ignition statuses, BLE sensors. Other information provides you the current location address, so that will update each point it's moving. Power and communication, so this is your voltage, battery voltage, etc. And then you have your system overall time status to make sure it's accurate. The map will follow your asset as it's moving around the map. So you've got telemetry widgets here. So these will provide you just basic data on the map, but it's not fully functional as yet. So moving on from there, you can then look at a route playback. So this gives you the ability to look at a route history. So you can select the device here, and say you want to look at the last 6 hours. You click on the last 6 hours, and it will load the last 6 hours of data of that vehicle. May or may not have been moving, so you won't see it if it hasn't been moving, but if you know that last 6 hour time frame is what you want to view, you can play back that time. So you can press play here and select the speed. So let's do 2 times to speed it up a bit, and there you go, you can see the vehicle is moving. This is much more finer detail than what you would see on the map in live view, because this is providing you with every second update. So if you see here, you've got 1,336 points within that 6 hour time range. So if I slide this a bit faster, because it was just moving around some buildings, you can start to see here, you get much better accuracy of where that vehicle has travelled. And on the right hand side, each point that's updating, you can see its speed, direction, telemetry of the vehicle, any battery voltage issues, any pitch and roll of your sensors. So you can pinpoint exactly where different sensors were updating, or any failures that you need to monitor at a certain point during the route. Put that down to actual speed. Your data visibility, this is all about when you toggle this map from this view to this view. So this view here is providing you finer grained detail on each point. So you can see all of these red points were going over the set speed. For example, this point here, 67, the data was tracking at 60 kilometers an hour being the correct speed. But if we say they can't go over 90 or 88, for example, you see the dots change. So you can change these parameters based on what speed they should be travelling, and it will tell you where exactly they've been speeding. We've enabled this for pitch and roll. We're just fine-tuning this, here, so it will show more accurate data. At the moment, it's not as accurate as we'd like, but we're going to do some algorithms to show you more fine data of when then BLE sensors are triggered throughout a route. So this is route playback. You then have route planner. So this is where you can plan a route for a specific vehicle. You've got your directions API, which is basic directions, and then you've got optimizations. So your directions API will give you finer route planning, so you can suggest alternative routes. You can do advanced exclusions, so avoid motorways, for example, and I'll show you how that works. So down here you can navigate to where the vehicle is currently, and then you can zoom out and have a look about where you want that vehicle to go. So if you want your next point is here, for example, and that's its next stop, and then you want it to then go on to this point. So you can then calculate that route, and the vehicle will, the map will generate a route for that vehicle. But maybe you don't want to use maps or motorways. Motorways. So you click here on motorways and recalculate that route, and it will recalculate a route avoiding the motorways. Now these routes are optimized. They're optimized based on traffic data, for example, and it will give you a suggested route based on traffic and avoiding motorways. If it can't avoid motorways because of increasing your potential fuel usage or any other factors, it will send you down the motorway route. So this is map generation. Once you've given it a name, so let's just say test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can save that route for that specific vehicle. Once it's saved, you're able to then publish it on the map. So if we go back to map now and we select that particular vehicle, the maps will show the route we just generated will show in here. So you import that to your map, and it will show you the route, distance, how long it should take, how many stops there are, how many points there are from A to B. So you know that that driver should be following that route because it's the most optimal route for that vehicle to travel. So that's route planning. Geofencing just enables you to create zones on your map. So you can create a geofence of where that vehicle should be, and if it goes outside that location, then you can set alerting for that geofence. So let me see if I can preview. No, not yet. So this gives you the ability to create them geofence zones. You then have management, so you've got device management here. So this allows you to configure essentially your assets. So adding an asset, so if you add a new asset to your system with the link that we send you, it will appear in here and allow you to preview all the telemetry, make sure it's accurate before you add it to your dashboard. You can then create different groups. So if you've got a set of vehicles that you need in one location and a set of vehicles in another, just create them as a group, and that allows you to manage all of your groups and assets. This allows you to configure your device. So this allows you to set whether you want to monitor analytics, monitor driver coaching, or put the system into sleep mode, which is a really good feature when you're using LTE-based devices. So this allows you to put your system into a sleep mode out of hours. So you can select the days of the week and the times of which you want to set that vehicle to either a deep sleep, online deep sleep, or ultra deep sleep. It gives you an explanation of what each one does here, but generally use online deep sleep. So what that does, if your vehicle is ignition on and moving, it will wake up the system so you will get telemetry. So if somebody comes in earlier than expected during the sleep cycle, it will still allow you to monitor telemetry because it will wake everything up. So this gives you ability to stop them telemetry messages coming when it's not necessary. So this is your configuration. You can also change the type and color of the assets. So if you can go to this one, you can change them to red, and just give all your assets different colors, different icons, depending on how you want to view and see your assets on the map. Zones is similar to what the geofencing essentially. This just allows you to toggle those geofences on or off the map, depending on whether you want to view them. Telemetry mapping gives you ability to map different devices to different categories. This is moving over to this new field visibility. So what this does here is it automatically reads all of the information that's coming in from that vehicle, and you can just choose whether you want to see that on the main telemetry screen. So everything that's toggled here as on or off is then displayed on your telemetry card here. So if you toggle it on, you will see it here. It's a really useful tool if you want to reduce what you're seeing or increase what you're seeing based on your needs. We then have, that's it for telemetry fields. We then have device control. So device command center is only for managers and experienced users. You'll need training on how to use this. Basically, you're able to send what's called JSON commands to your asset. What this will enable you to do is set particular parameters and settings in a more advanced way. But you would need to understand what you're doing, because you could potentially block the system, or you could cause a system crash of the device if you send any commands that are not appropriate. So kind of just leave this one to us to manage for you, but it's there available should you wish to. The good thing is you can't send anything that will cause any issues with the vehicle during transit or during operations, because we block them commands. So only when this goes green can a command be sent. So if vehicle is moving, you cannot send. If ignition is on, you can, but if these two, or if all of these are not green, you're not unable to send commands to the device. What's coming soon is the video transmission. So eventually, when you have fleet cams, they will be able to take snapshots. So we'll use algorithms that detect if the vehicle is speeding, or the vehicle is harsh braking, or any events which are abnormal. We will send an automatic take snapshot. So you will then get the snapshots of either the driver or externally to the vehicle of that incident point. We won't be providing live streaming. That is very, very costly and heavy to do through this system. It's something we can do, but it's not part of this feature. You will be able to play back video, but not live stream. There's lots of data issues around live streaming. Automation and workflows is a feature that's coming soon. This is all kind of template information, but what it will enable you to do is create your own pipeline of basically you'll be able to create a pipeline of flows. So when vehicle is speeding, send me an email. When vehicle is battery low, send me a notification. Them kind of pipelines and different hooks that enable you to get much more better oversight over your systems. And then you can have different webhooks, whether you want to hook in your own APIs for your own communication systems within your business, like Slack communication, Teams, Microsoft Teams, whatever. You'll be able to hook them into this system, but this feature is coming soon. This is just an example of what that's going to look like. You then have analytics. So analytics is a very useful tool for you to understand by vehicle or by all assets how that vehicle is performing, your fleet utilization, safety scores, regulatory compliance, behaviour benchmarks. All of this telemetry insights will give you better understanding on how your fleet is being used. Some of these are placeholder markers at the moment whilst we're completing the algorithms, but the tests so far have shown some really good data, and we've been able to use this data to compare and provide our customers with some really quality insights about the fleet. Predictive maintenance is also a very strong feature for you to predict maintenance of your vehicle. So this will show you machine learned predictions. So as you use the system more, and as you drive, as your drivers are completing more operations and more journeys, the machine learning will start to learn more and more about that vehicle. So it'll understand when there's overusage, harsh braking, and then start to provide you with information about potential costs and potential repairs and maintenance that are required for that vehicle. This just gives you a much better understanding of preventative maintenance, and you're able to schedule maintenance, add your inventory, so add all your parts that you're holding stock, monitor the parts, and decide when and where then parts are assigned to vehicles. Again, a lot of this is sample data, but these are sample data based on algorithms that we've run in emulated systems. So essentially, the same data that's coming from your vehicles will produce this same information. So very, very good insights for future maintenance of your systems. We've then got your driver behaviour. Again, very, very useful tool to generate scores based on your drivers. So this will give you live coaching suggestions for your drivers. So harsh braking, where they've been speeding, and basically you can provide them with coaching, not for over managing or telling people how they should drive, but also it's all about educating. What is the cost to the business when the driver is speeding? Well, the cost is suspension usage, harsh braking is brake pads, kind of things the drivers understand, but getting from point A to B as quickly as possible is not always the most cost-effective way of driving. We've then got basically leaderboards and just stuff you can share with your team around how they're performing and how they're driving. Optimization or suggestions based on priority. All of these are live information about this vehicle. So clearly show that there's been a lot of high speed travel, which is causing fuel efficiency issues. And then we provide you with trends on how that vehicle's performed. Route compliance. So when we get to the point, at the moment we provide you with the route planner. That route planner goes on the dashboard. The app is due to release in a couple of months, where you'll be able to send that route to the driver's mobile phone. They'll follow that route. You'll be able to monitor the route, so you'll know if they are compliant with that route or they've gone off track, or any reasons why they've deviated from the route. You'll be able to communicate this directly to the driver from here, so you can send them a direct message to their phone so they're not getting distracted. It will show on the map route that they're following to say that they've gone off track, and they can provide you with a summary of when it's safe to do so, of why they've gone off track. So that's all about driver coaching. Reports again is the data's live, the report download is not yet live. So this will give you daily, weekly, periodic or scheduled reporting. So in your inbox, mail inbox, you get a PDF with exactly how all your assets have performed, how your individual assets have performed, and you can have much more oversight straight into your inbox on a daily or weekly basis, so you can manage and coach your drivers or your business leads. You then got your user profile, basic information. You've got administration here, which you can add shifts for your drivers, and you can assign them to different vehicles. So if you have different drivers at different times, this is where you'd set the schedules, and they would appear in your shift management system here. All your drivers' names will be detailed here, and you can set the drivers' different assignments, what their tasking is for that day, and then you'll have analytics based on that schedule. Organisation management allows you to invite users to organisation, but also gives you more information about billing. This is sample data, so don't worry. All about billing, notifications, the usual sort of stuff you see within organisational settings. These three you won't see, and you don't need to demonstrate. They are all about the back-end system and our super admin access. So that essentially is the main navigation. Now this is your alerting. So you can add different rules for different assets. So whether you want when a vehicle is speeding, or when a vehicle is doing a certain thing, a telemetry alert, you can set that alert, create the information. It will send you that alert based on that schedule. This is the Flespy calculator. So Flespy is the kind of back end of where your telemetry goes first. So all the telemetry goes into Flespy. From Flespy, we are passing that data to our dashboard, converting it into useful information and user-friendly information. These calculators I've set up to do some analytics. That's where we get all the learning from. So the calculators are basically pulling key information, assessing that information, and giving it in a user-friendly way into the analytics system. So that's your alerting system. Then you've got your settings. Again, you don't need to demonstrate this. This is for our back end. So we understand that all the environments and all the connections are correct for that user. So that essentially is the dashboard. Industry standard information, but also we've done some kind of market leading authorization and security on the back end. We've also done extensive assessments of all the features that are needed and required, and we can do rapid development to get new features onto systems as quickly as required. So that's a whistle-stop tour of the dashboard. Feel free to reach out if you've got any questions.